Okay, so hello everyone, first of all, and I just pray from the Lord and my Guru. So let's start with the topic. I just want to say uh, namaste to them and then begin my work. Okay, now what has happened is that immunology have started, although the topic that is in your book is your health and diseases. The topic is health and diseases. You know? But what I have done, I'm breaking this topic, okay, into two. First, and that is basically dealing with your infectious diseases, isn't it? Which is basically now. Okay, I will deal with that, but it is a bit easier. But the part which deals with immunology, that is study of immune system, uh, where it requires a lot of understanding. Okay, so I have picked it up first, and where I find mostly, because they mostly in infectious diseases, if you will see, mostly you will be able to do it on your own as well, but I'm picking up those topics because we have missed so many things. So I just want to focus myself on the core concept first, so that then I will take up that part also, which is easier to some extent. Okay, so study of immune system is known as immunology, and right now this immune system has become very important in this COVID era. You know, you are always talking about this immune system. So we will study in detail what is immune system and what are the types of immune system and how. See, I just perceive immune system in your body is like, no, if I say a nation is there, you know, and nation has got what borders, है ना? Borders पे क्या होता है आपके? You have got borders and the nation is there. That means borders need to be protected. Always there will be what? Invaders. You know, they will be intruding into your, trying to include your area. Now, how your body is going to protect that area, that is the major thing. So another is protection. Now, how your nation is going to protect? So you have seen that your nation has got different kinds of army. You know, there is what? There is soldiers, and the Jal Sena, Thal Sena, and Vayu Sena. You know? So navy is there, army is there, and your all these soldiers are there to protect your nation. Now same way your body, now you will see that in your body now there are many different type of soldiers, and you will see what mechanism they use and how they protect your body. Okay, if you look at anything outside that humans have made, they have picked up it from where? They have picked it up from your what? From your this they have picked it from your human body only. Okay, or any other organism's body. Okay, so your biology is very interesting provided you go through it properly. Okay, now let's move on with the topic. So coming back, now what is immunity? Always people keep on asking what is immunity, immunity. So immunity is what? Is the overall ability of the body to fight against diseases. Okay, so causing pathogen, that is called as immunity. Okay, so there are various kinds of, now we will talk about pathogen. Let's briefly, I will talk about this term because it has come here. So at least you should know what is pathogen. You know, what is pathogen? They're disease causing organism. Causing organisms. So they're disease causing organisms. Okay, so we will see how your body protects itself from these organisms. So in a very briefly way, this chart is explaining you about immune system. Now if you look at your immune system, develops immunity, that is the resistance to fight from diseases, And there is another term which is used, is known as your susceptibility. What is it? We call it as susceptibility. That is your susceptibility. Huh? That is, you are more prone to diseases. Okay, when you are not able to protect yourself, so prone to diseases. And when you are resistant to diseases, we say that you are what? You are immune. And you have developed immunity against that disease. Okay, now I hope I have made these two terms clear to you people. Okay, now see, this immune system, immunity, this we will talk about immunity also further, and we will see how specific this immune system is in a way. Okay, so we will talk about that also. And see, almost all kind of macromolecules, almost all macromolecules, let me take the rubber. See, almost all macromolecules which are there in your body, like your proteins, you have read about them, so I'm just naming them, like your proteins, your what to say, polysaccharides, nucleic acids. Now, these are different kinds of your macromolecules present in the body, and they act as what? They act as antigen. Antigen means that they hike your immune system. Anti means what? Antibody generator. Antigen. We can say it as antibody generator. So they are the molecules which, what they do? They hike your immune system. How they hike your immune system? By what? By generating antibodies. Okay, therefore we use the word anti. Anti is for antibodies and gen is for generation. Okay, formation. So we will talk about them later further. Okay, so now let's see, I have very briefly given this immunity. If you look at, immunity is divided into what? Innate immunity and acquired or adaptive immunity also we call it. Okay, now this immunity is for the innate immunity first we will talk about, and then we will talk about acquired immunity and how I have further divided into natural and artificial immunity. And again we further divide them into active and passive immunity, both natural as well as passive. So in detail we will talk about it later. Okay, so firstly I will focus myself on innate immunity. Innate means what? What do we mean by saying innate? Innate we mean by birth. What do we mean by saying that? That is by birth. What kind of immunity that is provided to us by birth, that is there. And acquired is what? Adaptive is means what? That the one we acquire over our lifetime, that we gain over our lifetime. So I will talk about adaptive or acquired immunity later. Firstly I am going to talk about this innate immunity. Okay, so let's move on. So if you look at this innate immunity, what is there? Now innate I have told you by birth. So let's look at their types and their mechanisms. So this is the first type is your anatomical barriers. So this is the first type, which is your anatomical barrier. Anatomy means what? It's a physical barrier. So in your anatomy, what is acting as a barrier? One is your skin, which prevents the microbe, and it's very clear. And its acidic environment retards the growth of microbe. microbes. आपके माइक्रोब को ग्रो नहीं करता है स्किन पे, है ना, जल्दी से, अगर आप यू आर कीपिंग योरसेल्फ नीट एंड क्लीन. Then comes your mucous membrane. What is mucus? If you look your entire body, now whether it is your respiratory, your digestive system, your reproductive, in fact, also, what do you find there? You will find that there is mucus, so what does mucus is basically doing? It is entrapping your foreign microorganisms when we breathe also. You have read it also that, I need not to tell more that. What happens when you breathe? These foreign particles, these dust particles, they get trapped in the mucus, and then with the help of the cilia, by the movement of those cells here like cilia, now they are moving towards your throat. Okay, so these are what? These are a kind of anatomical barriers which is being provided and which protect your body. Okay, now moving on to the next type, that is your physiological barrier. Okay, that is how your physiology of your body, functioning of your body is helping you protect yourself from various diseases, isn't it? Now let's see. One is your temperature. You know that your homeotherm, isn't it? I'm not telling something which is, so your homeotherm, your body temperature is maintained, so if you look at your body temperature, the normal body temperature inhibits the growth of pathogens, so the normal body temperature is 37 degrees, which is preventing the growth of microbes. And when there is fever, that inhibits further the growth of pathogens, but we cannot allow the fever to increase too much. Why? Think, and if you get the answer, it's good. You can write the answer in my chat box. Why we can't allow the temperature of our body to increase too much? In a way, increasing temperature is also good, but when it increases too much, we have to then lower the temperature of the body. So why? The question is why. Okay, think. If not, then we will discuss it. Okay. Then there is another thing, that is low pH. What is there? pH, like in your stomach, if you look at, if you look at stomach, what is happening in your stomach? It is having hydrochloric acid, and it is what kind of concentrated, it is concentrated hydrochloric acid. The pH is very highly acidic. Okay, so it which kills your ingested microbes, which goes along with your mouth, and daily you encounter so many microbes while you breathe, while you eat food, but they are not going to affect your body because of these barriers that you have. There is another physiological barrier, which is your chemical mediators. There are certain chemicals being produced in your body which is protecting you. Like you can see your eyes has got lysozyme, your tears have got lysozyme, which acts as an antibacterial agent. And lysozyme is also present in something else, that is your saliva. Okay, so saliva and your tears both contain lysozyme, and they are what? Antibacterial in agent, and cleaves the bacterial cell wall. So any bacteria entering your eye or mouth, they get attacked by these saliva. Okay, another chemical, that is your interferons. Now what is happening with interferons? If you look at, there are basically alpha, beta and gamma. Three types of interferons are produced, that is alpha, beta and gamma interferons. And basically they are produced by cells that get infected with virus and by T cells. So suppose a cell is infected by what? By virus and your T cells. And now what is T cell? That is in your mind arising. We will talk about it in active, and we will talk about it in when acquired immunity we are going to talk about. So there are type of WBCs. For time being, you understand that. Okay, so what they are doing, so when a cell is infected by virus as well as your T cells, then they are able to produce these interferons. Okay, and what these interferons they do, they can't protect the cell from getting virus into it, but what they can do, they block your viral reproduction. They don't allow the virus to reproduce. So no more virus is able to spread itself because it is not able to reproduce. It can spread only when it is able to reproduce. So in a way it is protecting your body by not allowing. So what it does, these interferons, you can see that these let me see the cursor. Yes, these interferons, what they do, they enter into your cells which are not attacked by a virus. Okay, so they enter into the cells which are not attacked by virus and prevent them from allowing the virus to reproduce. Okay, got it? How do they work? There another group, there is another group of chemical which is called as complementary substances, and we call them as complement proteins. What do we call them? Proteins. We call them as complement proteins. Okay, so there are around 20 such proteins. Okay, and they are produced, there are around by plasma proteins. Okay, so there are around 20 plasma complement proteins are there in your blood which they circulate, and they are involved in the lysis. They cause the lysis of your cellular antigens and the labeling of your non-cellular antigens. Now again something new is coming for you, that is, they cause what? They cause the lysis. Lysis means they break what? Your cellular, I said, antigens. So you know, your any pathogen can act as an antigen. So they cause the breaking of that cell. Suppose that cell is a bacterial cell, so they will lyse that bacterial cell. And they also cause what? Labeling of non-cellular antigens. Okay, now these complement proteins जब आप लोग पढ़ेंगे, when I will talk about this acquired immunity and how T cells work and all, there I will tell you कि how they do labeling using these complement proteins. Okay, there it will become clear. So right now आप बस इतना समझ जाइए कि basically what they are doing is that कि they are a type of chemical which is helping WBCs and causing the lysis of these bacterial or microbial cells. Okay, so you can see produced from leukocytes. Okay, so analyze the pathogenic microbes and facilitate phagocytosis. Clear? So their role in this acquired immunity I will talk later. Okay, now there is another kind of immunity which is your innate immunity is phagocytic barrier. You know, there are various cells, specialized cells like your monocytes, phagocytic in nature, neutrophils, phagocytic in nature, macrophages, phagocytose and digest the whole microorganisms. Okay, so that is their role in phagocytosis. And there is another very important response in your body, inflammatory barriers. अब ये क्या है? You have heard about the inflammation, the word inflammation. Have you heard about this word inflammation? See, it's a primary immune response of your body. Whenever I say, whenever there is what? Whenever there is a infection, cut or injury. So whether it's a mechanical or a chemical or a microbial, I can say that, so it is microbial, there is a physical and there is a chemical. Any kind of an attack is there on your body, then what your body does, so it does some kind of primary पहली चिकित्सा जो हम लोग कहते हैं वो होता है. और what is the characteristic of this response? आप characteristic क्या देखते हैं कि देखिए यहाँ पे क्या होगा जब आपका any day where there is an infection or a cut or an injury, what will happen? Tissue damage will take place at that area, है ना. टिश्यू डैमेज विल टेक प्लेस एंड इट विल इंड्यूस व्हाट, लीकेज ऑफ योर वैस्कुलर फ्लूइड. जहां पे भी अगर कट गया तो आपने देखा होगा ना कि व्हाट हैपेंस, वैस्कुलर फ्लूइड इज देयर एंड those can leakage containing those they release a chemical which is especially your histamine. They release histamine as you can see here in the diagram, and leukotrienes. What they do, histamine causes vasodilation. It dilates your blood vessels. As a result, what is happening, the increased blood supply is there, and therefore what do you see, what is the characteristic feature I said? Feature that is, it is characterized by redness. तो वहाँ पे आपको redness हो जाती है because there is increased blood flow. And due to that there is an increased capillary permeability. Can you see that the capillaries are becoming more and more permeable because of these leukotrienes? Okay, so because of that, and the influx of phagocytic cells to that infected area increases. Okay, and more and more there is redness. There will be what, increase in blood supply is there, more and more release of and the tissue area will be your fluid, है ना. So what it will lead to, it will lead to swelling, and because of swelling and damaged cells there will be what, there will be pain. So these three things always you read about whenever you read about inflammation, but you're not clear about it. So I hope it's clear to you now. So you can see that it is having tissue fluid, increased permeability के कारण tissue fluid बढ़ जाता है वहाँ पे, and WBCs try to leak out from your blood capillaries and try to heal those area, है ना. तो हम क्या होता है, why inflammation is there? Inflammation is there so that the infection doesn't spread, so it prevents infection. Okay, so and therefore देखिए यहाँ पे term use के diapedasis. I hope you know that is when the WBCs they squeeze out of your capillaries, it is called as diapedasis. Okay, so with this I would like to end it now. I have covered your innate immunity, your inflammation and all major things, and I hope it should be, as we go on, the topic will become more and more clear to you. Okay, so with this, thank you and goodbye.